most people, I'm sure, since an early age, grade school, I was taught how everyone should reduce, reuse, and recycle. But one of the things I was never taught, and I don't think a lot of kids were taught, was how the recycling process actually works, what goes into actually recycling something, and the actual impact recycling has on our environment and on our natural resources and on our lives and the lives of future generations. So the mass production of plastic began approximately 6 decades ago. And from this point, from the 6 decades ago that it first started, it has rapidly accelerated to the point where by 2015 there was 8.3 billion metric tons of plastic created. Most of which this plastic ends up in the trash and not going through the recycling process. The plastic waste generation per person in 2010, the United States has one of the highest numbers of that, along with just a couple other countries that are very high. The rest are extremely low. Now, 9% of this plastic is recycled, only 9%. And plastic takes up to 400 years to fully degrade, which means the plastic from 6 decades ago, when it first started being mass produced, is still around today. Only 12% of this plastic is incinerated. One of the impacts of this is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. It's the largest accumulation of plastic in the world, with 1.8 trillion pieces of trash inside of it. It's just a big ball of trash floating around in the Pacific Ocean, right by California. And the prediction by mid-century, by 2050, and this is a quoted statistic by many researchers and scientists, is that oceans will contain more plastic ton for ton than fish. There will be more plastic in the ocean than there are fish, because people are not educated about recycling and as much as they should be. So another benefit of an item being recycled is not only the impact it has on our waters and our animals, but it also saves energy, which means it conserves our natural resources and those non-renewable energy sources like oil and stuff that they dig for this energy to create all of this plastic and other recyclable materials. So aluminum is another item that can be recycled. 100 billion cans of aluminum were sold in the US and half of them were recycled. 95% of the energy is saved when aluminum goes through the recycling process. It doesn't take hardly any energy at all to recycle aluminum. And aluminum is one of those products that can be recycled indefinitely, which means it can just keep being recycled and being recycled over and over again. With plastic, it's not quite the same. It can be recycled a few times, but the more it gets recycled, the more it loses its its substance and how it is formed. So it can only be recycled so many times, but just being recycled just those few times helps reduce the impact it has on our environment and on our natural resources, because